Here's more wrestling news for February 6, 2023. And we're starting off this afternoon with Triple H, who as head of WWE's head of talent and creative, has had to make a lot of difficult decisions. In October, the decision was made to bring JBL in as the manager of Baron Corbin, something the Texan has openly spoke about wanting to do for years. After a series of victories, the streak was broken on the November 21st Raw by Drew McIntyre, and Corbin has been winless on TV ever since. According to Zero News, the game is not keen on this partnership and plans to split Corbin and JBL in an upcoming episode of Raw. The belief is that while JBL has still got it, he and Corbin are just not gelling as a unit, and the angle is not getting over with fans. Whether Corbin turns on JBL or JBL leaves his protege, a split is seemingly inevitable at this point. And what have you made to this pairing? Sound off in the comments. For decades, Jake Roberts has had his moniker The Snake for his association with serpents, and that nickname has continued into his modern-day run with AEW. In May 2020, Roberts once again brought out a snake, but this segment with his snake drew a ton of flack backstage. On his Snake Pit podcast, Roberts recalled Lance Archer defeating QT Marshall on the May 6, 2020 Dynamite, and after the match, Britt Baker attacked Brandi Rhodes, who was at ringside. Shortly after, Roberts, also at ringside, placed a snake on the fallen Brandi, which didn't go down well with TBS executives. As Jake explained, "They're not gonna let a snake back in the ring, period. They were really pissed off that we used the snake. I guess they told us that wasn't going to be allowed, but we tried to do it anyway. They came down hard." While Jake will always be the Snake, it appears that his days using serpents in the ring are over, or at least for as long as he's part of AEW. When Adam Cole walked into AEW x New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door, he did so with a torn labrum, but that wouldn't stop the Men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup winner from competing. After all, Cole was one of 3 men challenging for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship held by Jay White, but this match unfortunately saw Cole suffer a serious concussion. Speaking to Wrestling Observer Radio, Cole recalled the match, or at least what he could recall, as he said he suffered memory loss after taking a weird bump. "I had taken a few weeks off getting ready for Forbidden Door. I had passed every single test I had to take, so I thought, oh, I'm good to go. Then again, at the Forbidden Door matchup, the strangest thing about is, I remember feeling really good. I had taken a bump where I felt a little weird, but it wasn't anybody's fault. It was a normal bump. I remember thinking, oh, okay, that felt a little strange. About 30 seconds go by, and then it's like I have no recollection or memory of what I'm supposed to do, what happened in the match. The memory stuff is the really scary part to me, when you're in the middle of a ring and there's thousands of people around you and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. That was really scary. So I knew pretty early on after my memory started going that something was wrong. Once again, got to the back and got checked out. That one was really scary because they were so close to each other. It wasn't just scary because of how close they were to each other, but what really scared me a lot, and this was part of where the concern of if I'm gonna be able to wrestle again came from, is I didn't do anything insane. It wasn't this dramatic move or this insanely dangerous move that I had taken. It was a standard pro wrestling match where now I'm at a point where I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing, where I am, or what's going on. Cole was a huge signing for AEW in 2021, but one that hasn't been able to live up to his fullest potential due to injuries, and we can only hope that the former NXT champion is able to live up to the high expectations fans had for him upon his arrival at All Out 2 years ago. Back to WWE, and Vince McMahon once again sits on the throne as the promotion's executive chairman, replacing his daughter, Stephanie McMahon. It had been reported that Vince and Stephanie did not work well together, and her departure came just under a year after Vince fired his son Shane for his actions at the 2022 Royal Rumble. Much like on-screen, the real-life McMahon family is strained, and when Seth Rollins was asked by Pro Wrestling Illustrated about the McMahons and the many recent changes, he found a comparison to a hit HBO series to be apt. Well, have you ever seen the show Succession? If you need an explanation, there you go. You have 3 seasons of it, I think, on HBO, so that's, again, all above my head. I'm a pro wrestler. I show up, I put in the work in the ring, try to do my best to entertain the people who buy tickets and watch us on TV, and that's all I can focus on. If I start worrying about the other stuff, I'm gonna lose my cool, so I gotta keep my cool, my friend. In addition to the many changes backstage, WWE is also looking to find a buyer, and also has both weekly TV to create and a WrestleMania to prepare for. For Seth Rollins, all he can do is his very best in the ring and prove why he is one of the top superstars in the company today. For years, FTR was a force to be reckoned with in WWE, but by early 2020, the duo had enough of the company. Requesting their releases, the two signed over their downside guarantees in exchange to not having to deal with a non-compete clause, meaning that they were free to talk to any other companies as soon as they left. As we all know, FTR would make their way to AEW not long after, and the team of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler didn't waste time in speaking to those at the All Elite promotion. On his podcast, Dax said that the same day that Mark Carrano called to inform them of their releases, they were contacting names at AEW and texted the Bucks to see if the company was interested in recruiting them. When the Bucks said yes, that was all it took for FTR to accept WWE's release, and within minutes, the pair were talking contracts with Tony Khan. While Dax and Cash have made an impact in AEW, the pair are currently taking a break, with their contracts set to expire this April. And where do you want to see FTR next? Or should they stay with AEW? At the end of 2022, Dragon Lee capped off the year by announcing that he had signed with WWE and would be reporting to NXT in due time. Given that last week's Vengeance Day was NXT's first major event since his signing, many fans expected to see the ex-AAA star in some format, but that did not happen for an interesting reason. During Wrestling Observer Radio, it was explained that Dragon Lee is having visa issues, and while he has signed with WWE, he's not at the Performance Center in Florida just yet. WWE reportedly wants Dragon Lee on the main roster by the time of WrestleMania 40 in 2024, but with these visa issues, it may be some time before we see him in any capacity on a WWE show. And we're ending today with Cody Rhodes, who since returning to WWE has had nothing but praise for the company. Cody has spoken about WWE as his home and how he's back to fulfill his father's dream, which begs the question, why did he leave in the first place? Prior to returning to WWE, Cody's last memory of the company was that of frustration, as he was tired of playing the Stardust character, which was just an extension of his brother Goldust. While Cody was optimistic at the beginning of Stardust as WWE told him it'd be more superhero-themed, Cody has since said he felt very dead inside like the sad clown as the Stardust character went on. Taking Triple H's advice to rattle the cages, Cody did just that, and after telling WWE at a meeting he would not be returning unless the Stardust character was ended, left to do bigger things elsewhere. Cody's work in Impact, the NWA, and AEW would have fans rally behind him, and now Rhodes is on the cusp of becoming WWE World Champion, with Stardust just a distant memory.